Good evening, everybody, and it's very hard to believe that Sheela says she's nervous tonight. Um, I have known her from the time she started her career, and it's fantastic to see the way she has evolved into a first-rate professional. I finished reading the book pretty much. I couldn't keep the book down. It's riveting. It's riveting not only because the topic itself is so riveting, but how many people do you and I know who are on kind of first name terms with some of the most wanted people in the world, and who are on speed dial, and there are all kinds of conversations and calls and memories that the book is not just replete with, crammed with, but that she has authenticated every single call and has either a fantastic system or dossiers on everyone, or I don't know what it is. You might write copious notes after every call, every date. It's so meticulous that there is no way that one can challenge the authenticity of any of the conversations or any of those encounters. And for me, especially, why she wrote the book is as interesting as the contents of the book. And you'll have to pay good money to read why. It's all in her introduction. I'm not going to give it away for free. Um there are parts of the book which read like a crime thriller because the pace is such. There are parts of it where you feel she is like one of those incredible Wonder Women in in a movie made a Bollywood Hollywood mix movie. I can always hear the background music and Sheela, coming into the frame and confronting all these people one only reads about and hears about. And most people in Mumbai, it's come to a stage where you don't even whisper their name. The time when she started covering crime, there was a, an atmosphere of such fear and terror in our city. And when we were having a conversation about this evening and we were mentioning names who she could invite, perhaps has tried to invite, people who were pretty close to her in that period, who were part of the trials, for example, in which she was talking about, where she was in the witness box. And till today, what has really changed? A lot of people were afraid to be seen at a book launch of a book in which they may or may not feature. But just to show support to an ex-colleague or someone they have known, they were afraid to come. This sort of an atmosphere is actually something that I feel very strongly about. It shouldn't be there, in not just for this book, but for any book. And we are living through times where people are questioning almost everything and everyone and looking with suspicion at your neighbor, at people you have known all your life, are suddenly looking at one another saying, oh my God, could there be some connection somewhere that we don't want to be associated with? To be able to write this book under these daunting circumstances is something that I really commend, and I congratulate you. It's like I said, it's so well documented. It'll stand scrutiny no matter who reads the book. There is your voice that comes through, and there are also, if I may bring in gender, which I normally try and avoid that creeping in, but the narrative, when you met Monica Bedi, there were little observations which wouldn't come, I think, from a male journalist, or even if they did come from a male journalist, that person wouldn't record them because would not consider them important enough in terms of what the person is wearing, her body language, when you met her the first time, then when you meet her again, when you went to Hyderabad to meet her, you spent 15 minutes with her when she was being brought to court. The time you've spent with various other people, there is a very keen eye there. It's the eye of a very intelligent woman who doesn't miss a trick, and which is why the book is so vivid that you can actually see some of these people, and that's really the mark of a very good writer, and more than that, the mark of a supremely confident and a very thorough journalist. So I'm very, very proud to have known Sheela so many years ago, very proud of the book, and I wish it all success. I'm sure it'll do extremely well. But if I have to add a little note, a personal note, which is not as complimentary perhaps, but has to be stated, which I did tell Sheela earlier, was I would have designed a very different cover. You know, the cover does it no justice. It's a cover that I think when you're rejacketing it, which you will, I'm sure, follow me, it'll go into the next reprint very soon because it's that kind of a book. It'll be a bestseller and the time will come to look at it again. And it's also incredibly updated. You have material in it, including Yaqub's hanging, which makes it very contemporary. The read is very contemporary. So the next time you redesign the cover, we should make it, I think, as a publisher myself, I would make it a more catchy or commercial, which it should jump out at you from the book stands. It's a very competitive environment today. Everybody is writing a book, it seems, or wants to. And the shelves are chock-a-block with so many, many riveting titles. Not all of them as wonderful as this, but nevertheless, they occupy shelf space. So a really catchy cover would help sell even more copies. So with that, Sheela, I'd like to give you a hug and tell you you've written a terrific book.